So I mean, these people when they come towards our country, they are able to do a lot of amazing things because they join hands. Sometimes I don't hate on them. I We only here not only to film but also have fun. We weren't able to catch no fish today, which was pretty unfortunate. But to me, I'm not really disappointed because it was my first time doing this. So I know as I do it more often, I'll get a hang of it. But I'm not really disappointed at all. So we have meat snacks. Basically here it's the original beef jerky, and then right here we got some turkey bite or whatever. So we're about to find out what it tastes like. I believe we got a couple more things in there. Guys, this is one of my favorite, yo. This one here is the smokehouse sausage stick. This one is banging, and take a look, it got 7 grams of protein, so it really provides you with a lot of energy, especially being out here. Are you ready to eat some snacks, bro?
I am ready to
Let's
eat
do it.
this.
Look at the duck over there. That's not a goose, but that's like a regular duck with a green head, and it's got his babies. I can only see one. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Wow. This is so wonderful. And here, we're here on the other side of the lake. How can you leave your home, go to a different country, and instead of making your own country great, and you making the others great? So I think that's a point that as African in the diaspora we need to address, because what I mean is that we know how like the system works here in the West. We work, we pay taxes, almost everything here is taxed. It's taxable. Almost everything is taxable. So this tax money is building their countries. So what is it doing to ours? So, and we see the youth more and more willing to move to the West because of these opportunities, but we don't really see the potentials that we have in our own countries just because we are too blind to see it. And I always say this, you will not know a value of something that you're holding in your hand until you let it go. I moved here, I was 20. I was pretty young, right? And 9 years later, almost going to 10, I don't really have the same mindset that I had like 9 years ago. I saw things differently back then. So now I get to understanding of the world, and I started to realize more and more that hey, our country needs help. And I always tell people don't always depend on the governments, because if you one of those people that all worried about politics so much and I hope that the government would do something, listen, I agree there are certain tasks or responsibilities that falls upon the government, but a lot of things will have to be done individually, because nobody can hold me back from purchasing a piece of land and investing into it, or buying a land and building a house in it, or renting a place to establish or build an orphan and have like these kids running around the streets to have at least a shelter. Nobody can stop me from doing that. I mean, we need to start thinking about ways to change our own communities, because nobody else is going to do it. So now we start complaining how Chinese and Lebanese and all these Indians are coming to Africa and taking over economically. You know why? Because they hold hands, they join hands. They, bring their knowledge from elsewhere, they put it together, they go out there, and unity is strength. And they work towards it, and they win. You know why most Africans, we haven't been able to win even in our own countries, and not even being able to compete with this, expat? So I mean, these people when they come towards our country, they are able to do a lot of amazing things because they join hands. Sometimes I don't hate on them. I actually like learn from their strategy. Don't always blame the government or blame the local authorities for giving them all this, uh, facilitating everything for them to make it easier for them to invest. It's not that the government make things difficult for us to invest. We don't have the money. I mean, hey, if I showed up at your doorstep and you were selling something, and here comes your family member, right? He wants to buy it like 3 times less expensive than what I'm going to pay you. Of course, the choice is clear. You are going to want to get more from your item that you are selling, and this is how it works, even in the investing world, or even as far as business go. So, if Congolese were working with each other, or African generally speaking, these Chinese or Lebanese that we complain all the time about, they will find it difficult to compete because if I was interested in farming, for instance, and Delphin was interested in farming, but I have the land, he does not have the land, but he has the money. You know what we could do? I provide the land, he provide the tools and the equipment, and yeah, we can make work in collaboration. And when we start making those profits, we split it in half. This is one thing that most Congolese are lacking, or most Africans are lacking. You want to do something just because you are so thirsty for money. You don't even have the means, the possibilities to get there. But you don't even have to share, you don't even want to share ideas with people. But how the hell is going to even, be implemented if you don't have the possibility? Sometimes we need to learn how to kind of like, humble ourselves. Be humble and accept that, okay, this is how much I have. The missing part, I can get it elsewhere. And we'll figure out how to pay it back or whatever, as long as we can get the foot in the road. That's the mindset we all should have. But most Africans, we don't have that. We more so trying to be more like individualistic versus
selfish, yeah.
And selfish, because you want everything to, you don't want everybody coming towards you. That's also why we're not even making no progress. If you started making money now, everybody else becomes lazy because they're looking up to you. They want something, they come to you because you will give it to them. Nobody wants to work anymore. We got to get out of that mindset. If we go back, they promote individualism in the West world, but not in Africa. Like there, we are more social people. We all more living community. We help each other. But when it comes down to doing business, why aren't we maintaining those same values? We always trying to shift away from it. That's one thing, I mean, I don't know what you think, but
that's actually a good question. That's a really good question. And if you think you know the answer, please leave the comment down below. But my thought is, I think it's that idea of selfishness, like you said, just wanting things for ourselves and not willing to let people grow. You feel like someone around you is just gonna grow and then you're gonna be there. The idea of not like allowing growth in ourselves and just willing to grow independently has restricted us, and we feel like if we have the idea, we don't want to share. But sharing is more caring, but also growing together and expanding. And honestly, that's why we struggle. That's why we tend to be a little bit more corrupt, because of that same thing, because we want to just be ourselves, and we can't even feel like it's hard to trust the whole organization because of that independency that you feel you want to grow independently. But the only way to break it is, like he said, since we are always social, let's implement the same thing. Especially for all of you diasporas out there, I know you've learned so much from living wherever you are, Europe, USA, whatever you are, I know you have that idea of growth you've learned from just whatever you do. I know you have now experience, and this is why we ask you to do the same and go back home, teach people you know, just something small, and learn from them and grow from there.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would have to. Hello.
Hello.
So yeah, it's just really, it's a pretty interesting point that you just rose up there. So yeah, guys, every time like two Congolese guys that think big get together, this is what the conversation more likely tend to shift. But I think these are important conversations that we should start having in our communities, rather than just sweeping everything under the rug and letting it go. And that's not a good way.
And it's not gonna help.
It's not gonna help us. We're not gonna grow. And then another thing, you see, like the Chinese, the Lebanese, you know what they do? Literally, when they have one of them come from their country, to join them, they'll actually give them funds. So like, hey, go to that community or go to that particular area, set up a business there, grow, and start paying us back. And you know what it does? It creates the whole economic chain that expands in their community. You know what it does? It creates what we call empire. You can't really hate on them because you just don't have the game. You don't have the strategy to counterattack what they're doing, because today business is more about competition. You have to be able to compete with big businesses in order for you to prevail. I mean, if you just sit there and complain, guess what? Nothing is going to get done, because the moment you want to sit there and complain how the Lebanese and Chinese are taking over our African countries or even in business sector, guess what? You may argue they're not paying people enough money. That's on the government to regulate and impose them to pay more money, but at least they're creating jobs for the local people. What are you doing particularly to create jobs for people from the same community you grew up in? If you have that answer, feel free to leave them at the comment down below.
We would love
we would love to hear from you.
Yeah,
So yeah, man, I think this was a really great conversation, man.
This was really great, and we need to do this more. And I know you guys are inspired, and I know you've learned something, and I encourage you, please subscribe,
I mean,
follow and like on this channel.
Here's another thing, going back to like going out to the park. I probably never would have been able to come up with these ideas if I was at home. I feel like I'm mind free now, like I'm talking freely because of the nature, the breeze, the quiet. It just allows my brain to function properly. I never would have been able to come up with these ideas if I was at home. And this is another thing that you sometimes every once in a while need to come out here in this area and kind of like, air out, just get some new fresh air going through your head. It will really help you clear your mind, And yeah, please God, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. The link is in the description. It does pretty amazing things. Still small YouTube channel for both of us, but hey, together with you guys, we're pretty sure we will grow. And if you give us your trust, we will not let you down. All right, guys. So with that being said, I hope this is the part where we'll wrap it up. Thank you for tuning in, and I really appreciate every single one of you. And let me take the time to give a shout out to all of my recent subscribers, everybody that has recently subscribed to my channel. Thank you so much. I mean, it really means a lot, and it really helped my channel grow. If you really find this video interesting, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so every time I release a video, you'll be notified. And until next time, guys, peace.
Thank you, guys.